One of the things that was most prevalent in my youth was religion. And I'm not going to go into that in detail today, but the thing that often struck me about those of faith, certainly in the Christian Church of Scotland type faith, was their reliance or their trust, if you like, in the Bible. I don't share that trust, but that's for another time. But I think the thing that interests me, not only about Christian religions, but any religion, is the fact that they have various rituals. And I think rituals are interesting. They are something that can take us to different places. They can lead us to develop new ways of being. They can help us see things in different ways, and they can impact our subconscious and create behaviours that happen almost by surprise. Rituals are a big thing in the personal development world. They often talk about goal setting and everything else, which I've talked about before. But I'm going to be very specific about one of these habits, one of these rituals that I think can be claimed by anyone of any faith or non-faith anywhere in the world. And I'd like to see organisations thinking about this, because personally I find it quite transformational. Do you ever feel in need of inspiration, or in need of thoughts or ideas, or in need of help? I do. And to help me with that, certainly in the last more than a decade, probably 20 years, I've tended to lean on a collection of thinkers, characters, poets, scientists, etc., etc. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said about almost 200 years ago now that if you're seeking inspiration and you're seeking guidance, one should make your own Bible. Make your own Bible. Now that's quite a generative thought in itself. And I heard a podcast just the other day where someone else actually mentioned this. I think it first came into my orbit when I was talking to one of my ex-colleagues at British Gas, actually, who said that he had a Northern Star, and that his particular Northern Star was Jack Kerouac. And I had never heard of Jack Kerouac at the time, and that interested me, and I researched it, and Emerson came into Kerouac's writing, and it was there that I found the reference to make your own Bible. So what does that mean? Well, purely as a practice, it means bringing together the writing or the thinking or the art of people that inspire you. Simple as that. They make you think. They challenge your thoughts. They provide a way of saying something that you believe that perhaps you can't express. I've often thought that my capability does not rise to my taste in this respect. But yeah, so like the Christian Bible and particular elements of the Christian Bible, there are people you regard as saints, as significant individuals, and they help you think through things. And if you are a meditator, you can even meditate on what do you think X would say. Now, I like that. It's a practice that I use and have used for many years, and it touches on some of the, again, the personal development world, the likes of Napoleon Hill, who I'm no longer so sure about in terms of his veracity, but nevertheless, he talked about having your own board, your own imaginary people that you relied on to help guide you, your guides through life. So just I'm really drawn to this idea, and I have definitely lived it. So for me, and anyone who follows me and or has seen me speak, you will know that I have a great admiration for people like Carl Sagan, who was probably in my experience, however limited that might be, I think he's the man who has brought to life the wonder and the magic of science, and trying, as science does, to understand nature. Another one would be Rilke, the German poet, who has massively challenged me in terms of the simple things, how the simple things impact my life, and Rilke's thoughts on things like questions and the power of questions has absolutely been transformative, and he does sit in my life very powerfully. Another example of that may be Ursula Le Guin, who, whilst she's known as being a writer of science fiction, she also was someone who sought truth through that fiction. She once wrote that that truth was almost a devious thing that would be, it would work or it wouldn't work depending on how the story was told around that truth. Now, I'm not quoting directly there, but that was the spirit of it, and that, by heck, did that make me think, and to this day it makes me think. Another example would be Celaya, who is an incredible Cuban-American artist who, funny, it's his art, I appreciate his art and I like some of his art. He's a painter and sculpture maker. But for me, it's more how he describes the making of that art and how he progresses his thinking and how he develops his ideas and brings them to life and kills them and resurrects them, and it is just astonishing to follow Celaya's way of thinking. So these are some of mine. I mean, these are only the higher saints in my own personal Bible, but I think it's the other thing that helps. I mentioned earlier it's a ritual, and I think workplaces do have rituals. We do have our daily prayers. The metaphor seems to be extending here. We do have our reporting processes, etc. But there are very few rituals that I'm aware of that link to personal growth and personal development. Now, I don't think companies should be giving people a version of the Bible. They shouldn't be saying that these are the characters and the institutions that we admire. But what I do think they should be doing is encouraging people to seek out learning, seek out people who are completely different to them, who challenge them. And from that, I believe the organisation of the future could really flourish. And it's a different way of modelling the responsibility that an organisation takes for the personal development of its people. It's interesting, isn't it? I wonder what Carol would say.